Hey everybody, it has been raining for what feels like weeks. I haven't seen the sky in a long time. Um, between that and forced work travel and just, things getting busy with the kids, I haven't been out much. Anyway, it's dreary, and I've been dreary, so I'm going to try out a new backpacking recipe today, or new to me, and just see how it goes. Given the dreariness, I'm going to do a little comfort food and see if I can make up some backpacking chicken and dumplings. We'll see how that works. So here's a warning. You're about to hear me make this recipe of really good stuff. Ignore the quantities you hear me say. You will see why if you watch the rest of this video. But instead, look at the quantities that I have printed below and throughout the video. So ignore what I say, look at what's written. You'll see why. This is an experiment. Alright, so chicken and dumplings is essentially chicken soup with biscuit dumplings kind of boiled in the broth. So it's kind of like a chicken noodle soup, but with a different mouthfeel, right? So you got to make it somewhere where you got plentiful water and a campsite. It's going to take a full liter. But really, this is all it boils down to. I normally pack this stuff in a gallon Ziploc. But I got a pack of chicken, okay? This is my veggie pack to kind of give it the herbs and seasoning here. And I can dehydrate this, but I'm experimenting. I don't really need to do that right now. I'm confident that if I dehydrated it, it would come back. But this is essentially a cup of celery chopped up, a cup of carrots chopped up, 2 bay leaves, a 1/4 teaspoon of poultry seasoning, and 3 to 4 tablespoons, I'm going to use 4 and see how it works, of cornstarch as a thickener. So that's that. And then this is, it's about 6 ounces of biscuit mix. Any of your just add water or buttermilk biscuit mix will work. That's a good hearty, probably feed 2 people kind of meal. And it's not a lot, so we'll see how it works out. I guarantee it's going to be better than one of those dehydrated pouches. Okay, like I say, a full liter of water. Oh, and I forgot to say, one other thing that's in here is 4 bouillon cubes, so 1 per each cup or so of the water that went in. So we'll get instant chicken broth here. I'm going to stir that up to get the cornstarch a little dissolved, and then we'll just let that cook. Alright, so while that's cooking, I'm going to take my my biscuit mix and I'm going to add it to a smaller pot, and it's just like a ½ cup of water in here, and I just want to soak it and start turning it into dough. There's my veggie mix and my biscuit mix that needs some stirring. We'll let this hydrate. And after it's hydrated and stirred up, it's a very sticky, glutinous, which is, kind of what we want. We're going to put dollops of that into boiling broth and let it cook that way. Alright, I've got a good boil going here, so I'm going to turn the heat down to let it simmer. And I'm just trying to let the veggies get tender. If you were starting with dehydrated, you might want to let it go a little longer to make sure everything is nice and soft. While this is simmering, I'm also going to go ahead and add my chicken. This is pre-cooked, so I don't have to worry about it, being raw or having to cook a particular amount. Just want to heat it through. This is one of the reasons I like gas stoves, is you can adjust the heat. Let them simmer very nicely. Some are better than others, but I've had pretty good luck with this one as being a good, having a pretty good control. try this. Yeah, not crunchy anymore. Not mushy, but not crunchy, so that's pretty good. I'm gonna go ahead and start dolloping in this this dough, and then we're gonna cover it and just let it cook for about 5 minutes and see what happens. So let's give this a try. So I'm gonna take, you know, spoonful sized chunks and just bloop. This is going to expand, of course, as it cooks, like normal biscuits do. Hope my pot's big enough. I might have to stop just for pot size here. Five minutes, with fingers crossed that it doesn't overflow. I overflowed. Alright, well that's why we test these things. This pot isn't big enough for all that. So I have to try a reduced quantity, but I'm going to try to salvage what I can out of this. And we'll see what happens. I need to get my stove relit though. Alright, so I'm going to let it cook without the cover for a little bit and just see if I can let it cook down some. Let some of the liquid get out of this. But you can see it's like, it's breathing like an animal. Alright, this is why we do experiments. At least with this pot, I'm going to have to try a 3-cup version and reduce everything else accordingly. Alright, part of my challenge is that the biscuit all kind of came together and made a cap over top of everything. And so that kind of started to hold pressure in, so there were just like little holes that the liquid and steam was escaping from, and that caused it to boil over. So I've gone back in and I've broken up the biscuit a little bit, and that's helping. We'll just put it that way. Alright, I think I salvaged this, but with slightly less quantities, again, at least for this pot. So, yeah, my dumplings are solid, you know, still a little doughy. It's not expected to be a biscuit, it's a dumpling, so it's looking pretty good. I'm going to let this go for just a couple more minutes and then we'll give it a try. Let's stir it off the bottom and see how yummy it looks. It's almost like chicken pot pie filling, which is about the idea. I might add a little bit of salt and pepper to this. And do remember there are bay leaves in it, so, you know, avoid those. Heat's off, we're just letting it cool down to something that can actually be palatable. But, yeah, that's looking pretty good. Give this a try. That's comfort food. That'll warm my belly. So, all I'm going to do now is enjoy this and clean up my mess. And I'll give you some revised quantities. But yeah, it's an experiment. That's why we try this stuff at home, and I know what to bring next time, so I both know that it's good and worth carrying, and exactly how much I need to carry. So good eating. Hope y'all can enjoy this as well.